Suffering in Buddhism. In Buddhism, suffering is a fundamental characteristic of human existence. The Four Noble Truths, a core teaching of Buddhism, teach about suffering, the cause of suffering, the end of suffering, and the path to the end of suffering. Therefore, understanding and overcoming suffering is a core goal of Buddhism. In Buddhism, suffering is defined as follows. Suffering dukkha is a general term that encompasses pain, sorrow, dissatisfaction, anxiety, and affliction. Buddhism divides suffering into three types. Physical suffering dukkha, physical pain, illness, old age, and death. Mental suffering samkhara dukkha, sorrow, fear, anger, and desire. Existential suffering viparinama dukkha, the suffering of birth, aging, sickness, and death. Buddhism teaches that the root cause of suffering is attachment. Attachment is the tendency to cling to things that are impermanent and unreal. This attachment leads us to desire things that we cannot have, and to fear things that we might lose. In the process, we experience suffering. Buddhism teaches that the end of suffering is nirvana. Nirvana is a state of freedom from suffering, affliction, and rebirth. It is the ultimate goal of Buddhist practice. To overcome suffering, Buddhism teaches that we must understand the nature of suffering, let go of attachment, develop compassion and loving kindness, practice the Noble Eightfold Path. Understanding the nature of suffering is the first step to overcoming it. When we understand that suffering is a natural part of life, we can begin to let go of our attachment to it. Compassion and loving kindness can help us to develop a more accepting and compassionate attitude towards suffering. The Noble Eightfold Path provides a practical guide to overcoming suffering. Buddhism teaches that suffering is not something to be avoided or denied. It is something to be understood and overcome. By following the teachings of Buddhism, we can free ourselves from suffering and achieve enlightenment.